and I have forgiven my son's killer, who is now serving life in prison. From Micah 7:18. You do not stay angry forever, but delight to show mercy.
What we're going to be doing today is meeting with lawmakers across the House and the Senate to advocate for a second chance resolution declaring April a second chance month. And we know that's important because people that are returning home from incarceration face 44,000 barriers to becoming reintegrated back into our society. And we believe in a God of second chances who specializes in the resurrection story, and we're going to be advocating just for that today.
So I was once known as a thug, a violent criminal, and even a menace to society. However, I'm grateful that those labels no longer define the man that I am today. I'm now known as a father, a husband, a mentor, and a community leader.
Second chances matter to me because I am a product of a second chance. I served 8 years at Mabel Bassett Correctional Center in Oklahoma before getting my sentence overturned. And I really appreciate the second chances that were afforded to me by landlords, by jobs, and most importantly, by prison fellowship, and giving me the opportunity to help others that have stories and have voices to learn the value of sharing their testimonies about how the Lord has changed their life and what second chances mean to them.
On a personal level, or specifically to me, being incarcerated, coming back out as a returning citizen, having a second chance, getting back into the workforce, being able to have a family, buy a home. Without second chances, I probably would have went back in, probably would have went back to my old lifestyle, and who knows where I'd be now.
I was a formerly incarcerated person myself. I served about 20 years, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for second chances being offered, awarded to me through presence, through education, through other volunteers, and then equally as well, once I got home on parole, it continued on. I became a father, and I needed those, I needed to learn what that was, and again, through second chances, through our community, through peers, helping me channel that, walk through that fatherhood life, something I knew nothing about.
About 21 years ago, I found myself with a job in politics, but I also found myself embezzling funds and ultimately had to resign and found myself in the need of a second chance. And through the work of prison fellowship, through the work of my community, I was able to find redemption, and also through my relationship with Jesus Christ.
Justice without mercy, as Thomas Aquinas said, is cruelty. Not only does the cause that you're fighting for, what is so important in helping us in the Senate and the House and the staff to understand the value of second chances, and third and fourth and fifth and sixth chances, is more than just a religious belief. It comes from the heart of compassion that built this country.
I'm hopeful that by the end of our time here, we have changed and just impacted the minds and hearts of the more than 40 lawmakers that we have met with today, that they will consider supporting the Second Chance Month resolution, and that this will just create a chain effect for the change that will take place in the area of criminal justice reform.
My faith calls me to work towards second chances for everyone. We're all redeemed in Jesus. We've all had second, third, fourth, fifth chances, and people coming home from prison have barriers to access for housing, education, jobs.
1 out of 3 people has a record of some sort. When we play a part in restoration and giving people a chance and giving men and women tools to live differently, we are all better off.
The Values Action Team represents such a diversity of topics that are dear to our Savior's heart, including prison reform and second chances.
Sadly, we know the data in America has some of the highest rates of recidivism in the world. We're arresting 2 out of every 3 people who are released from prison. But we do know that faith-based approach to community-oriented focus, and this makes real difference and makes restoration for those that have come from a broken life.
You know, to your point, Congressman, Prison Fellowship works because we know Jesus works, Jesus saves. And we've had studies done even by the Texas Department of Corrections where we have a match comparison group, and it shows this last study that we had of it that we have a 50% reduction in recidivism compared to the control group of our participants. And so people are going home changed, stepping into a transformed life.
Micah 7:18 tells us that God gives us a second chance. And I believe my church embraced me when I first came out wholeheartedly, and they're praying for me right at this very moment.
I mean, again, it's a very fundamental biblical concept that we're to speak up for those who don't have a voice and not just stand idly by. We want to see our communities made different because of the power of the gospel and really live out what we're experiencing in that gospel every day.
Truly, second chances is something that resonates no matter what side of the aisle you're on. Particularly if you're a Christian, you have received a second chance through Christ, and so we can extend a second chance. This is one of those areas where we've been able to find both sides of the aisle in agreement that we want to extend second chances, not only because of our faith values, but also for practical reasons. We want people to come home and be able to contribute to their families and to their communities, and extending a second chance does just that.
I am blown away because I walk down this hall and I look and I remember walking down halls of maximum security prison in handcuffs and shackles, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm gonna go back and I tell the men, look where I am today. This is unbelievable to be here, but I'm representing them.
You told us that you came to proclaim freedom to the prisoner. And Lord, that freedom is for all of us, but it was also specifically for the prisoner.